Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today, I gotta let out some nonsense that has been happening. Something that happened over the past couple days that actually really freaked me out. And I think that a lot of people who are newer to the gig economy might end up in this situation someday, especially if you're starting an S Corp or something of that effect. Like, this event might happen, and this was just scary when it first happened to me. I'm going throughout my day. I was actually in the middle of a Grubhub order when I got a notification that my doorbell rang. Okay, well, it's a doorbell. Does it really matter that much? In this particular case, it kind of did. Once I finished the Grubhub order, I headed back home to see what was going on because the Ring doorbell didn't, something with my phone wouldn't register. And usually what happens when somebody rings my bell is usually I get a text message, but that didn't happen. So I was thinking, hey, maybe I got something delivered and I just forgot about it, right? Well, in this case, I ended up getting a letter. It wasn't at my door. It was from the USPS. They needed me to sign for this particular letter because it was from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. I freaked out when I saw that because I work with a CPA and make sure to do everything by the book, and my CPA has been so good to me about getting everything done right, and I'm very thankful for that. However, in this particular case, I was scared. I was like, what is going on? I didn't really know if it could have been outside of, I owe them severe money or I'm about to get audited, and unfortunately with USPS, it's not like you just, as soon as you get that thing, you can just go back. You have to go back when the letter makes it back to that area. And of course, this happened in the middle of a Thursday, so I'm freaking out in my mind, in my chest, just trying to figure out what it would be. Like, have you ever went online to figure out what the symptoms are to whatever illness you may have, and suddenly you diagnose yourself with stage 4 cancer? Well, that's what I started doing with this letter that I never even read. I kept going through it, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Like, what was the definitive reason for this happening? I go to the post office the following morning. They said it would be there at 8:30. Like, they open up at 8:30. You can go right in, ask for the letter, bring the little slip, and they'll hand it to you. So far, so good, right? It's a simple process. Well, just like how the labor shortage is affecting those of us in the gig economy, in the sense that because there are no workers in restaurants, we are being slowed down as gig workers. Same rules apply to the post office. Apparently, they're shorthanded, and the hands that they do have are, well, let's just say they don't really know what they're doing either, because the trainers also left with the people that actually quit. Hashtag great resignation. I'm hanging out there for a while because they can't seem to find this letter, and I'm thinking to myself this whole time, what is this IRS letter? What is this IRS letter? What is this IRS letter? And I'm freaking out in my mind and in my body. They were like, oh, we can call you about it later. I'm like, no. I want to leave with that letter in my hand. Of course, they eventually find the letter, and I sign for it. I walk out. I couldn't even wait till I got home in order to actually open it up because I was in that kind of panic mode. And it turns out I did owe them money, a total of $100. $111.07. I am freaking out over $111.07. Now, also in my mind, I'm like, what is this error? And I decided to contact my CPA about it. And it turns out in the second quarter of this past year, I had to pay a late fee. Well, the reason why I was late was because they tried to send me my documents. It was my first year in Florida. So they tried to send me my documents. It got sent back, and then it's sent here again. And it was this whole fiasco. And finally, I sent the money. It was no big deal, but I didn't know there was a late fee. It was actually like $110.75 and a 3% interest charge, according to the piece of paper here, which is 32 cents. And honestly, I'm not mad at my CPA. I'm not mad at the fact that I had to pay a late fee. I already paid the late fee. Like, seriously, it was just click, click, boom, done. I'm not even mad at the fact that the post office lost the letter. Because, you know what? During this labor shortage, everybody's short-staffed. Everyone's stressing out, and no one knows what the hell they're doing. And those of them who are getting jobs and just getting started aren't even being trained properly because they don't have people who are there long enough to train. It's this whole fiasco no one likes. And I get that. So what am I actually upset about here? I spent a day and a half, pretty much, spending from the time I got that notice to 9:30 the next day, because it really did take an hour to find the letter, freaking out over $100. Why am I talking about this? Because gig workers may end up with this letter at some point. It's something that when you are self-employed, you might end up experiencing at some period of time. And I think that there are some names and letters and just overall notifications that you get that freak you out, whether it's financial like this or some other notice that just makes you sick to your stomach. Not all news from the IRS is bad news, and not all news from the IRS is really bad news. Even if you did owe back money for whatever reason, such as this, it may not be that devastating of an amount. Do you know how relieved I was to see $100? Like, that could have been so much worse if I didn't know what I was doing. If you are the type of person that really doesn't know a lot about tax season, and no, this is not tax advice, this is not legal advice, this is not financial advice, this is not business advice. I am a random YouTuber you found online, and this video is for entertainment purposes only, as entertaining as the IRS can be anyways. So I recommend you do your own research and consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. But that last point is, in fact, talk to a professional. Work with a CPA. I'll tell you what, I don't think I would have been able to physically handle myself if I was doing all my own taxes. So I recommend working with a qualified professional if you are someone who's not willing to navigate those waters yourself, because I'll tell you what, this guy that I'm working with, I feel so safe when I'm working with him instead of me just trying to figure it out on my own. There's some professions I'm not willing to delve into. So work with professionals. Make sure if you ever get in a notice from the IRS, it's because you are doing the right thing, not the wrong thing. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.